job description is a useful, plain language tool that describes the tasks, duties, functions, and responsibilities of a position. Job descriptions are used as a foundation for much of what we do in human resource management. Job descriptions are used as a tool for recruiting, determining salary levels, managing performance, establishing pay structures, creating reasonable accommodations, career planning, and training. Additionally, job descriptions are important tools for maintaining compliance with the FLSA, the ADA, and many other important employment laws. Let's explore a simple process to create great job descriptions. All organizations should have a job description template to ensure consistency in job documentation throughout their organization. A myriad of templates are available through a quick Google search. I strongly recommend templates found from professional organizations such as the Society for Human Resource Management. Greg's job description template is designed to clearly present the demographics, purpose, essential functions, and job specifications in a user-friendly format. To write a great job description, let's use Greg's job description template to apply this straightforward 9-step process. Step 1. Perform job analysis. Step 2. Create essential functions. Step 3. Develop a purpose statement. Step 4. Write education and experience statements. Step 5. Determine other knowledge, skills, and abilities. Step 6. Write physical demands. Step 7. Define the work environment. Step 8. Determine demographics. And finally, Step 9. The approval and completion of the job document. Step 1. Performing job analysis. Job analysis is the systematic process of identifying the tasks, duties, and responsibilities expected to be performed in a job, as well as the competencies needed to be successful. This is the process of gathering, examining, and interpreting data about the job's tasks that will supply accurate information about the job so that the organization can perform efficiently. Job analysis collects information about what people are doing in their jobs and can be gathered in a variety of ways. Performing the job analysis can include the following steps: observing how tasks are performed, interviewing employees to find out exactly what tasks are being performed, having employees fill out questionnaires or worksheets, and finally collecting data on jobs from other resources like ONET, an online database of jobs. Step 2. Defining essential functions. Once the data about a particular job has been collected through job analysis, essential functions of the position can be defined. This is the first major task of writing a job description. The use of the term essential function should be part of your job description, and it should explicitly state how an individual is to perform the job. On average, a job description should include 4 to 8 essential function statements. Defining essential functions encompasses the following steps. First, ensure that the tasks are truly necessary or a requirement to perform the job. Next, determine the consequences of not performing the function and whether this would be detrimental to the employer's operation or result in severe consequences. Third, determine if tasks can be redesigned or performed in another manner. Fourth, determine if the tasks can be reassigned to another job. Once the essential functions are defined, the employer can make a determination as to whether the functions are essential or marginal. Each essential function statement, what I like to think of as buckets of the major responsibilities of a job, will include responsibility statements that further define the activities of that essential function. Follow these general guidelines for developing good responsibility statements as part of your bucket of essential functions. First, 2 to 8 responsibility statements should be included in each essential function area. Organize your responsibility statements in a logical order using a bulleted list. And consider listing the responsibility statements in order of importance for that essential function area. Now you might be asking yourself, how do I write essential function or responsibility statements? Here's a formula to do just that. When developing your essential functions and responsibility statements, use this key result area or KRA formula. The KRA formula provides simple guidance for writing your essential function and responsibility statements. Using this formula, you'll develop an action-oriented statement of your essential function and responsibilities. This formula helps you start each sentence with an action verb. Action verbs portray a clear picture of the action to the reader's mind. Next, you'll describe what action needs to be taken, what needs to be done. Finally, you define the outcome. Describe what needs to happen in measurable terms, something we can assess. What's the result? Use this KRA formula to define your essential function and responsibility statements for your job descriptions. After you've completed writing the essential functions and responsibility statements for your position using the KRA formula, establish the approximate percent of time the employee will spend in the essential function area. The total percent of time should equal 100%. Start by prioritizing responsibility statements, ranking each by order of importance. With each responsibility statement of your job description ranked, add up the total of the assigned ranking numbers under each essential function statement to attain a total score for that area or bucket. The essential function with the highest score will generally have the highest percentage assigned. Typically, the most important functions will consume the majority of an incumbent's time, with other functions requiring less time. Estimate the percentage of time the incumbent will spend on each essential function over the course of the year using your ranked totals. The percentage of time for each essential function should be at least 10% of the total job or higher. Anything less than 10% will indicate a non-essential function. Key functions that consist of less than 10% of total job time should be removed, grouped with another essential function, or put under the header of other duties as assigned. So let me leave you with a few tips for writing key result area statements for your essential functions or responsibility statements. First, always use the key result area formula to develop these statements. Use 4 to 8 essential functions to describe a position. Each of those essential functions should have 2 to 8 responsibility statements using bullet points. Start each sentence with an action verb as directed by the KRA formula. Use action verbs to portray a clear picture of the action in the reader's mind. And avoid using action verbs like handle, survey, or arrange. These words are vague and do not give the reader a clear picture of the true work of the position. Step number 3, craft your purpose statement. The purpose statement is a concise and brief description of the reason that the position exists. The statement provides just enough information about the essential functions to distinguish the position from others. The statement provides a high-level overview of the role, level, and scope of responsibility, and essential functions. It summarizes the overall function of the work and captures the essence of the essential functions and responsibilities of the job. This is a very important part of the job description and is usually the first part of the description that people read. The purpose statement gives people their first taste of what they can expect in the job. Therefore, a good summary is meant to serve as a condensed version of the job description. Write the purpose statement after all of the essential functions and responsibility statements have been written using the KRA formula. And here are a few more tips when writing purpose statements. First, ask yourself, why does this position exist? Why does the organization need the position? Then, begin the statement with an action verb followed by the results that will occur in terms of services, outcomes, growth, and program development. You can loosely think of this as using the KRA formula. Use language that everyone within the organization will understand and avoid describing tasks and activities. A good purpose statement is not a reiteration of the activities that comprise the essential function or responsibility statements of your position description. Keep the length of your purpose statement to a short 45 to 65 words. Step 4. Determining education and experience requirements. Next, we document education and experience. These requirements are essential qualifications needed to carry out the day-to-day essential functions of the job. Education and experience are considered job specifications. Job specifications are the competencies, the knowledge, skills, and abilities that a job holder must have in order to perform the job successfully. Organizations commonly include comprehensive job specifications in their job descriptions. Education and experience requirements should be consistent with the department and organization standards, unbiased, The education and experience requirement cannot be based upon a particular person's education or experience. Remember, it's what's required of the essential functions of the job. Precise. Requirements that are too high can eliminate potentially qualified applicants from your candidate pool. If they're too low, you might not receive a lot of applications, but only a few who are qualified. Specific. Set the requirements at a very minimum needed to be qualified for the job, but also include the type of experience that you need for the essential functions of that job. For example, instead of saying 2 to 3 years of related professional experience, say 2 years of experience as an administrative assistant. And finally, relevant. The education and experience requirements should be applicable to the duties and responsibilities of the job. Organizations should develop a checklist of education and experience content to ensure consistent decisions are made for each position description that's written. The example here provides some examples of education and experience organized in 3 distinct areas: education, certification, and licensure. This table might be helpful in designing your organization's checklist documents for your own process. And finally, some tips for writing education and experience content. When considering education required by the position, identify the minimum level of education necessary to produce adequate performance results in your key result areas. When considering experience required by the position, do the same. Identify the minimum level of experience necessary to produce adequate performance results in your KRAs. When selecting the applicable qualifications, consider only those that are required by your essential functions. If there's a qualification required by your position that's not listed on your organizational checklist, you should add it to the checklist during your job documentation process. Step 5. Other knowledge, skills, and abilities. When defining other knowledge, skills, and abilities, known as KSAs, consider the knowledge, skills, and abilities required by the essential functions and responsibilities of the job. Other knowledge, skills, and abilities are a continuation of job specification and should be written in paragraph form. Let's take a moment to define each. Knowledge is the comprehension of a body of information acquired by experience, certification, or licensure. Skills are present, observable competence to perform a learned activity. And abilities are the competence to perform an observable behavior or a behavior that results in an observable product. Other knowledge, skills, and abilities may be described using a wide variety of terms. Organizations should develop a standardized checklist to ensure that it's easy for you to check off the skills that readily apply to a position. The standardized list assures that the terms have the same meaning across all job descriptions. This checklist should rank the frequency of the use of the application of the KSA. For these ranking choices, I recommend rarely, occasionally, frequently, and continuously. See Greg's Other Knowledge, Quality, Skills, and Abilities checklist to see how this format can assist your decision-making regarding what KSAs to include in your position descriptions. Now for some tips in writing other knowledge, skills, and ability content. Considering each essential function, identify the other knowledge, skills, and abilities that are absolutely required in order for an employee to perform the responsibilities and essential functions of the job. When selecting other knowledge, skills, and abilities, consider only those that are required by the essential functions and associated responsibilities. Step 6. Determining physical demands. Physical demands are tangible, raw skills that are required by the key result areas of your position. They may also be referred to as physical skills. These demands are written in paragraph form in your job description and represent abilities that can be observed, such as lifting, crawling, climbing, carrying, bending, and so on. Identifying physical skills that the position requires assures that employees are placed into positions with applicable required skills, which in turn helps ensure your success and safety in a job. Here's another great opportunity to use a checklist. Physical skills can again be described using a variety of terms, so a checklist will make it easy for you to just check off those skills. This standardized list ensures that the terms have the same meaning across job descriptions. As you check off physical skills that apply to a particular position, your checklist should also identify the degree to which the applicable skill applies. For frequency rating choices, I recommend rarely, occasionally, frequently, and continuously. A degree designation helps to identify and prioritize the physical demands that are required under your essential functions. See Greg's Physical Demands Checklist to see how this format can assist you in your decision-making and job documentation. And here are some tips when writing physical demands. Considering each of the essential functions and responsibility statements, identify the physical skills that are absolutely required in order for an employee to perform the activities of the respected area. When selecting the applicable physical skills, consider only those that are required by the essential functions and responsibilities. Clearly and specifically state only those demands that cannot be easily accommodated. Use carefully chosen words to convey the physical demands of only the essential functions of the job. In Section 7, we describe the work environment. This section of your job description provides a brief description of the work environment, which are the characteristics described in the job description that are representative of those the employee encounters while performing the essential functions of the job. The work environment statement is written in paragraph form. Generally, the description will not exceed 3 to 4 sentences. Here are a few tips for writing those work environment statements. Describe irregular or unusual work schedules and any conditions of the physical environment that the employee may find unpleasant or hazardous. Again, describe the work environment in 2 to 4 sentences. Step 7. Demographics. Demographic information contains job titles, reporting structure, FLSA status, and other basic information about the job. Following the development of all other job description content, the demographic information should be completed. Although this might seem counterintuitive, you should complete the first section of the job description template last. It makes sense to complete demographics last, as you will have all of the job-related content defined that you will need to make necessary decisions regarding demographic data. And here are the 9 demographic elements of Greg's job description template. First, the job title, the name of the position. The department, which is the home department of the position. The date when the job description was written or last reviewed. The grade level, which identifies the compensation level according to your organization's salary structure. The FLSA status, which is exempt or non-exempt from the overtime provisions of the Fair Labor Standards Act. Benefits status, which identifies eligibility for benefits. FTE, or full-time equivalency, expressed in decimal form, for example, 1.0 or 0.8 FTE. Reports to, which is the title of the position the job reports to. And supervises, the title of the position or positions that the job supervises as direct reports. And finally, Step 9, Approvals and Completion. The remaining section of the job description template provides for signature of the incumbent and supervisor of the job. This represents an important conclusion to the development of a job description, a validation of the content, and completion of the job documentation process, which includes 3 elements. A disclaimer. It's a good idea to add a statement that identifies the job description is not designed to cover or contain a comprehensive listing of the activities that are required of the employee. Signatures. Include the employee and supervisor to show that the job description has been reviewed and approved and the employee understands the requirements, essential functions, and duties of the position. And finally, storage and access. Managers and employees alike should know where to find job descriptions in secure locations and understand the important role they play in managing people and the organization. Now go use Greg's job description template to create great job descriptions.